Hey, I'm Superpig, and oh no, everything is broken. Welcome back to Memory Bound, where everyone's least favourite farm animal, that's me, fools, has forgotten how to code. In the last video, I started work on this new open world project, where the player can forget areas, causing them to regenerate and change. I added basic third-person control and inventory, and in this one I'll be adding the basis for a lot of very important systems, including the main mechanic of memories, and I'll finally be adding some common sense music into the game. So first, I knew I wanted to start working on the main system where areas can change or be preserved, but feeling daunted, I decided to start with something I dabbled in before, procedural generation and terrain. With no knowledge in my head, and for some reason set on reinventing the cliche, I mean metaphorical wheel, I set about coding my own Perlin noise generator. It wasn't too bad, but mesh generation was, because I'm incompetent. Once I'd given up on my hopes and dreams of becoming mildly intelligent, I turned to tutorials and eventually Magic too. But I'm broke because I have 65 subscribers. That's a subtle hint to subscribe, so I used the free version. Sadly, while the terrain looked great, the way Magic works does not lend itself to regenerating parts of the terrain. I had no clue what I was doing, to be totally honest, so I ended up doing what any sane person would do, and pushing my problems into the future. In this case, I just ditched the terrain and focused on the chunk management. Unfortunately, the tomfoolery I just spent however long explaining cost me ages in real life. I got all the features shown in this devlog made in about 10 days, but sadly by that point I'd already wasted 2.5 weeks mucking around with features which got exactly nowhere. Anyway, chunk management essentially means all of the logic the game has to do involving saving areas or ditching them and generating procedural terrain. So I slapped a custom state onto a 2D array and it worked perfectly. Once I'd done that, I went on to something most modern games have, sound. I didn't have many sound effects, but I set up the system and it will be very easy to expand in future when I actually need them. And truth be told, it could work a lot better, so I'll probably rework it soon. And after that, I wanted to add a separate system for music, because it deserves it. As always, you can find Sam Common Sense in the description, because talented people do not like sunlight. Subscribe to him, even though he never uploads. But once again, the curse of gamedev strikes, and none of the music was actually saved to the video recordings. Good news is I slapped it all in as background music. You're welcome, but in the actual game it fades dynamically between tracks based on your location. That all took a whole lot longer to explain than I planned. Anyway, here's a second major feature implemented for this devlog, and it's the photography system. While past me struggles with pretty basic concepts such as the convert to PNG please function that a 7-year-old could work out, I'll be explaining what this will actually do in the game. I've already mentioned how memories will work. You can save an area using a memory, or in other words, you can remember an area. However, I didn't explain much about the vague concept of the memory, so that's what I'll do now. The plan right now is that memories can be worked towards with some kind of XP system, bestowing a memory orb when completed, and that orb will just save an entire geographic region. Essentially, there's a funny ball that just magically memorizes the entirety of France or whatever. Anyway, the player's gonna have a camera, which will be first person or used as a spectator drone, and this will allow the player to capture images of the world. These will have some details stored about them, and they will be judged to give the player region XP. However, you would have to take a lot, and I do mean a lot of photos to save even one region, and saving a region with photos will up the cost for the next one. That's okay for you, because there's also the dungeon, which I did mention last devlog as well. Imagine Breath of the Wild shrines, but leading to a dangerous network instead of 1 or 2 puzzle rooms or something. In the dungeon, there will be one boss per region, which will be a difficult but doable fight and will grant a lot of region XP, probably somewhere between about 75 and 90% of the XP for the region. Finally, I wanted to touch on something a bit more relevant now, which is the photography system I'm actually working on. First, it is useful as the players can view the photos taken in an album and download the photos to their computer. It also displays the region the photo was taken in. Second, I thought it would be really funny if the coordinates or location show were just utter nonsense, and then I'm never going to reveal if that's a lore thing with the world building or the player's memory and that. Finally, I implemented a fair few camera settings such as manual focus and ISO, but I'll be adding more in future and adding some filters too, plus zoom and FOV, which aren't there yet. Anyway, that's it for this devlog. I do want to mention the upcoming features I planned for the next video. I'm genuinely excited for 2 of the 4 features. Please guess which 2 in the comments because it does amuse me. Anyway, the planned features are fishing, melee combat, ranged combat, and ducks. I really don't know where to take this outro now.